This call is now being recorded.
Today's topic is digital transmission. It is lecture 6 in the series of data communication and computer network. Digital transmission, first topic is digital to digital conversion. Okay? So in this slide we will see that how to represent digital data by using digital signal. The conversion techniques involved are line coding, block coding, scrambling. Line coding is always needed, but block coding and scrambling may or may not be needed. That's why we will cover line coding in details. See, what is our input? Our input is binary data or digital data in the form of 0101. At sender side, encoder will encode this digital data to output form digital signal, 0 for low, 1 for high, and there will be link between encoder and decoder that will transmit the digital data in the form of digital signal to the decoder. Now decoder will decode this signal and it will convert the signal to digital data form, which is 0101 binary form. So that digital data will be received by the receiver. So line coding here means converting digital data to digital signal. See, let's have an overview of signal elements versus data element. If say in the first figure, one data element per one signal element is used, means for this high, say you are using say 0. So means for one bit, one signal element is used. Sometimes you can use high to low transition at the middle to represent a 0, or you can use different technique where one signal, two signal. Total two signals are used for one data element. Okay. Sometimes it can be like you can represent 0, 1 using only one signal element. Okay. So here two data elements are represented with a one signal element. Sometimes it can be like four data elements can be represented using three signal element, means whenever you will have high, low and middle, that will represent 1101. So this can be scenario in line coding. Okay, means signal element is different, data element is different. We have a formula where a signal is carrying data in which one data element is encoded as one signal element, r equal to 1, if the bit rate is 100 kbps. What is the average value of the baud rate if C is between 0 and 1? So we assume that the average value of C is half. Okay, so if we assume C equal to half, we have a formula C into capital N into 1 by R. Okay, where C equal to half, and what is N? N is your number of say bit rate, 100 kbps. 100 into 100, it is 100 multiplied 100 bps. Okay, and here R is given as 1. So your value will come as 50,000, which is 50 kilo baud. Okay. Although the actual bandwidth of a digital signal is infinite, the effective bandwidth is finite. Okay, that is the actual case. So earlier we have a formula 2b log 12. With that you can find the maximum bit rate. So main question here is why to use line coding. Okay, the topic that we have in the first line coding, why to have line coding? If we will not have line coding, then see what will be the problem. Say you are sending 10110001, okay, with bitstream say high, low, high, high, then continuous 3 low and high. If you will not use synchronization, then what happens? Say without synchronization, say we are using 1 say time frame for this time, say for same signal high, we are encoding it as 1 whereas 0 is encoded as 0 and 3 is encoding as high, and this low value are encoded as 4 zeros, okay, whereas this high is encoded as 1. So if synchronization is not there, what you are sending and what you are receiving, that will be decoded in different way, okay. So encoding and decoding will be different without synchronization. So time synchronization is an important factor in line encoding, okay. So these are some numerical you just study for home study, it's given. So in line coding, the categories involved are unipolar, polar, bipolar, multi-level, multi-transition, okay. So we'll cover the first three, unipolar, polar and bipolar, where in unipolar the category is non-return to 0, NRZ. In polar it is non-return to 0, non-return to 0 L, return to 0, biphase. In biphase there is Manchester and differential Manchester. In bipolar it is AMI and pseudo ternary. So we will take care of this few, say NRZ and NRZ biphase. So this will be covered in this slide, okay. So we will take care of unipolar, polar and bipolar. Let's see what is unipolar NRZ scheme. Unipolar says we have two voltage level, either 0 or voltage high V. So it is simple that whenever it is 1 it will be high value, whenever it is 0 it is low value, okay. That's why the signal represented as high, low, high, low, okay. In case of polar NRZL, our value will be like you can represent 0 as high, or it is up to you that for high you want to use 0 or for high you want to use 1. That is up to you. If you are using high as 0, then for 1 you should represent it as a low. Otherwise you can use high as 1 or low it is as 0, okay. So in the Forozen book they are using value 0 as high, just for an example, okay. So NRZL says simple technique level, okay. See, observe this: 0 as high, 1 as low, 0 as high, 1 as low, and 0 as high, okay. So what is difference with NRZI, okay. Here whenever you are getting a value 1, you are just inverting it, say new value. So black represents the inversion, okay, and the white color circle represent no inversion. So the rules in NRZI is that if next bit is 1, inversion take place. If next bit is 0, no inversion take place. So you memorize these rules for NRZI, okay. Where 0, let's start with high. Since it is 1, invert, continue. 0, no inversion, continue. 0, no inversion, continue. Okay, received 1, invert, received 1, invert, received 1, invert, okay. 0, continue. So applications of NRZ-I is that it differentiate between consecutive one. Okay, if synchronization will be missed, the technique is that high, low, high, low, high, low value will represent that consecutive ones are sent from the sender side. Okay, using NRZ inversion, it will easily decode all the ones present in the bit stream. Okay, and for 0, it will be like low. Okay, 0, it will be continuous, it will be low without inversion. Okay, so that is difference between NRZ-L and NRZ-I. You can have a question like, sir, NRZ unipolar NRZ is almost same as NRZ-L. So what is the difference? Here difference is that you are using 0 and V. Here you are using, say 0 is here in the middle. It is V, it is minus V. Okay. NRZ-L uses voltage high and voltage minus V for bitstream line encoding. Okay, and the middle difference is 0. There is a difference. I hope these three topic NRZ and NRZ-L and NRZ-I schemes are clear to you. Let's have a summary. In NRZ-L, the level of the voltage determines the value of the bit. In it is for NRZ-L. For NRZ-I, the inversion or the lack of inversion determines the value of the bit. So inversion means 1, 1, 1. Continue. And lack of inversion means 0, 0, 0. Continue. Okay. NRZ-L and NRZ-I both have an average signal rate of n/2 baud. Okay. NRZ-L and NRZ-I both have a DC component problem. So what is polar return to zero scheme? Okay, polar return to zero scheme says in each case it will return to 0. Okay, see, observe this. Half of the bit, just 1 minute. Okay, observe this point, this point, this point, this point, and this point. In each case, for each bit stream, half of the length of the signal used for synchronization. It says that if for some reason, if you will miss synchronization, then the black colored signal position will sync your signal. Okay, means from the name itself, polar RZ scheme says that from middle to end of the signal, it will return to 0. So whenever in examinations you will be provided with a bit stream, just draw the middle part first. Okay, draw the middle part first, then go for your other part. Like here, for 0 they are using low, for 1 they are using high, for 0 they are using low, for 0 they are using low, for 1 they are using high. Okay, so that's the technique, that draw the from the middle to end, make it level 0. Okay, or make it level what I'll say, reference line. Okay, it is reference line. Draw the signal in the reference line, and then for bit stream you denote it. Say 0, it will, you can make it as low, 1 make it as high, or 0 you can make it as high, or 1 make it as low. It's your choice that for 0 what you want to use. It's just a denotion. At sender side and receiver side the rules should be same. For all bit stream you can assume 0 as high or 0 as low, but the rules should be same for sender side encoding and receiver side decoding. then you will get the same signal representation in both sides. Okay, I hope this is clear. Next, polar biphase. In polar biphase, there are two different techniques. One is Manchester and another is differential Manchester. You closely observe this, that in all cases there is a transition at the middle. Okay. See, for 0 they are using a transition at the middle. Okay. So whenever you will get a bit stream in examinations like this, remember that for Manchester, draw a middle line because there is a transition at the middle. Okay, there is a transition at the middle for all bit stream. So up to this you complete your drawing. Then go for next thing. The next thing is that the rule says 0 you will use high to low. For 1 you will use low to high. And what is that? Means it's like high to low. 1 low to high. Here high to low. Then there high to low. 1 it is low to high. It is low to high. And next complete the drawing that here it is from here to here, you just join it. Then you will get a easy drawing for Manchester. Okay. So what is important here for Manchester? You should remember the rule that what signal component you are going to use for your 0 and what you are going to use for 1. In differential Manchester, same thing. At the middle, you draw the signal. Draw the signal at the middle for all cases. Draw the signal, and then what are the rules given to you? No inversion when next bit is 1. Inversion when next bit is 0. Okay, go for it. For 0, rule says inversion. So say you are at the start point. From the starting point, you have to go for inversion. Gone, done. If you have reached here, you have to continue this line. Then automatically it will go, and you have to end it up here. Okay. Then again, see bit stream 1. Bit stream 1 says that if you are having next bit as 1, you should not invert. So what? You will continue, then there is a drop. So you have to reach here. So here you decide what you should do. The next bit stream is 0. Since it is 0, rule says inversion. So invert and then continue. Automatic transition, come here. Again bit stream is 0. So from here you decide inversion. Rule says inversion. So invert from here, go here. Continue. Then your automatic transition and you will reach up to here. From here you see the bit stream. It is 1. If it is 1, no inversion. So from here, no inversion. Continue. Automatic transition, reach up to here. From here you will decide next bit is 1. If next bit is 1, no inversion. So continue and you will reach here. So that is the simple technique for differential Manchester. Or simply you memorize the rules that for 1 I have to use no inversion. For 0 I have to use inversion. So applying this rule, you can draw signal for this bit stream. Okay, so that is all about differential Manchester encoding. So if you are still confused with the technique, just rewind the video and check it again. Okay. The summary is that in Manchester and differential Manchester encoding, the transition at the middle of the beat is used for synchronization. Minimum bandwidth of Manchester and differential Manchester is 2 times that of NRZ, okay, non-return to zero scheme. In bipolar encoding, we use 3 labels: positive, 0 and negative. See the figure. Here it is positive, it is 0, it is negative. Okay. In bipolar, okay, just mistakenly I have said it that, not for that, sorry. That is for this figure. It is positive, 0 and negative. That is for bipolar scheme AMI. Okay. In this AMI and pseudo ternary, it is signal level is positive, 0 and negative. Okay, so you can draw 3 lines also in examinations, like with pencil you can draw this line, then you can draw your signal. Okay, AMI is simple. AMI says whenever you have 0, you will be in the reference line. Okay, and whenever it is 1, the rule will be different. So just draw for 0. It will be in the reference line. Okay. Then go for 1. So it is 1 is here, 1 is here. You closely observe that the rule says for first one it is high, for second one it will be low. Okay. If there is another one, then it will be like high. High means here. Okay. Another one say here, then it will be at low. Okay. Means consecutive one will be represented using high, low, low. Okay, that is for AMI, and for 0 it will be middle, like say you have consecutive 3 zeros, so it will be in the middle. So later you can join the signal, it will be like this form. Okay, let's revise it again. For 0, signal will be in the middle line. For 1, it will first high, for next it will be low. First level, then third level, you can say. If we have first, second and third level, for 0 it will be in the second level always. For AMI, it will be first level, then it will go to third level, then again first, then again it will be third. Okay, it's kind of flip. Okay, pseudo ternary says that just opposite of AMI. For 1, it will be in the reference line, in the 0 line, 0 voltage, or in the second level you can say. Okay, and for 1 it will like high, low, high, low. Okay, so that is all about AMI and pseudo ternary, and with that we are closing for line encoding and also known as digital data to digital signal conversion. Okay, next topic is all about analog to digital conversion. So in this analog to digital conversion, we are going to cover pulse code modulation and delta modulation, which will help us to convert digital data to analog signal. See, in pulse code modulation, you will have a input signal, analog signal. Okay, this is your input. Okay, and this should be your output. So you will have a encoder that will convert your input signal to output signal, sorry, output data, input signal to output data, where the PCM encoder will sample it first. Means the analog signal will be measured at different time instance to get this PAM signal known as pulse amplitude modulation signal after sampling. Okay, analog signal will be sampled to get PAM signal at this point, where it is sampling based upon time frame, like 1 second it will measure, second 2 second it will measure, third second it will measure, fourth second it will measure. What are the top values? Okay, so that is pulse amplitude modulation signal. That signal will be given as an input for quantizing. Okay, where in quantizing this pump signal level will be quantized into different nearest levels. Okay, so you will get quantized signal where each signal will be represented to the nearest level. Okay, so then this will be given as an input to the encoder, encoding, for encoding. After sampling, after quantization, it will go for encoding, where based upon the level value, each level is given as say 001, or this level as say 111. Okay, so different signal point will be having different values. Okay, so after having all the values, say it will say 000, 111, that will be your B stream, that will be given as digital data. Okay, so that is all about quantization, where different signal level values will be having different level binary value. So for each height, each peak, the binary value will be taken, nearest binary value will be taken. So that binary value will be given as an output in the form of digital data. So in this way, it is able to convert analog signal to digital data. Okay, with the help of sampling, then quantizing, then with encoding. Okay, so still if you are not able to understand what is PAM, let's revise it in the form of this slide, where it says that for PCM we have ideal sampling, we have natural sampling, we have flat top sampling technique, where in ideal sampling technique it will just measure the peak values like this, it is the values. Okay, so the analog signal only the time with the difference TS, it will measure the values and it will be given as an input to the your quantizer. Okay, sampling, after sampling it will be output as a PM signal and it will give to quantizer. Or you can have a natural sampling where it will, after a time gap, say TS, here it is say after time gap TS, it will measure for this time, black colored position. For this time, let's take as a TX, say for TX time it will measure the value, and again TS gap it will measure the value. Okay, it will measure the value, it will measure the value. Okay, so you are getting a value up to this, up to this, up to this. Okay, this is known as natural sampling. Okay, sometimes depend upon requirement, one can use flat top sampling also. In flat top sampling and in natural sampling, what is the difference? In natural sampling, if you will start measuring from point 1 to point 2, you will have continuous peak values. Okay, from say it is say 5 and this is 6. Okay, so range is from 5 to 6, whereas in flat top, if it will start at 5 height, it will continue with 5. Means for time frame this, the signal measured height will be 5 for this position. For next position, say it is say 7. So flat top, at the top position it will be flat, and at this time frame it is again 7 only. Okay, means at flat top it's like natural sampling where it will cut the top position to maintain a continuous signal peak value. Okay, that is known as flat top sampling. There is a questions in the examination that compare with explain with or compare the three different techniques for sampling available for PCM. At that time, you have to name the ideal sampling, natural sampling, flat top sampling. With figure, you have to draw and you have to explain what is ideal sampling, natural sampling, and flat top sampling. So there is a note for you. According to Nyquist theorem, the sampling rate must be at least 2 times the highest frequency content in the signal. Okay, sampling rate should be 2 times the frequency. Why so? Okay, say Nyquist sampling rate for low pass will be 2 into highest frequency. Okay, and for band pass also it will be 2 into highest frequency. That is said in this slide. Okay, it says that sampling rate must be 2 times frequency. So sampling rate or Nyquist rate is 2 times the maximum frequency, okay, of the signal. Please don't get confused with Nyquist sampling rate and another slide I have shown Shannon capacity and Nyquist capacity. That is different. Okay, here it is Nyquist rate or Nyquist sampling rate, okay, which says that double the frequency. Let's see with an example that if Nyquist rate sampling is fs equal to 2f, then what happens? If it is 4f, then what happens? If it is fs equal to f, then what happens? Okay. Let's consider this first case where you have the signal where frequency is here 1, 2, 3 say. Frequency is say for one signal position. Let's take up to this position. Your frequency 1. Okay. Then sampling should be taken twice at this peak, at this peak. Otherwise, you will not be able to get this position 1 and 2. Okay, because your signal element is up to this. So up to this frequency is f and your sampling rate is 2. Then only you will be able to recover this signal element at the receiver side. Okay, that is case 1. Say it is ideal sampling. Okay, oversampling also can be there. Unnecessarily you will sample here 1, it will 2, it will 3, it will 4. So up to this you are sampling 4 times. So it is unnecessary to measure this position 1 and 3. Okay, you can continue only 2 and 4 also. Okay, so it is oversampling. Okay, it is known as oversampling. It is known as Nyquist rate sampling. And undersampling means for this length of signal you are only once measuring the signal. So with this peak you will not be able to measure the signal. Then after that what you will do? You cannot continue with the signal because you do not have value. Okay, so it is known as undersampling. So the theorem says that it should be 2f. So it is ideal. It is not recommended. It is not recommended. Okay. Some numerical for you. Go with this numerical. You will be able to get. Okay. See, we was originally in this topic. What just I have covered? Sampling. 3 different type of sampling, and then with that sampling rate should be what? Then again, this I will explain this part, quantization. Okay, here. Okay, this slide. In quantization, after sampling, say these red colored lines are your sample. Okay, samples taken. So after having these sample values, what quantization will do? Say for, let's take, these are your labels. Okay, you are using label as -4D, -3D, -2D, -D, 0D, 2D, 3D, 4D. These are the some voltage level, and for each gap -4D to -3D you are using 0. minus 3D to 2D, you are using 1. Means this will be the sum codes. Means simple, you are using 8 level from 0 to 8. So where your signal position exists, okay, that is the question here. Say for some reason normalized value is minus 122, then quantized value will be 1.50. Okay, so here you have to say that it will be normalized error will be 0.38 because difference is such. Okay, so for this signal quantized code will be 2. Okay, for 2 it is binary is 0 and 0. See that for this first signal it is nearest level is category is 2. For this it is what? 5. For it is your 7 level. It is also 7. It is in the position 6. It is in the position 2. Since it is nearest to this point, this 2. Okay, and it is in the level 1. It is in the level in this line 2. Here it is 2. So simply from this level we are able to know that it is in level 2, it is in level 5, it is in level 7. Okay, so what you are getting? You are getting 2, 5, 7, 7, 6, 2, 1, 2, 2. How I am getting? With matching the level. Then if you got the level means you have got the quantized code, so this you can just relate with this line. Okay, after that you convert it into binary. Binary of 2 is 0 1 0, binary of 5 is 1 0, binary of 7 is 1 1 1, binary of 7 is 1 1 1, 6 is 1 1 0. In this way you are getting a bit stream for your signal of this form, where this was generated by your PAM modulation or sampling, then you are getting a bit stream. So see that slide. You are having an analog signal and now you are having a digital data with the help of quantization. Okay, so I have just shown you quantization and encoding just now with this slide. Okay, so in examinations, whenever you will write for PCM, you have to use at least 3 figure: figure 1, figure 2, and figure 3 with textual explanation. Okay, some numerical to calculate decimal dB. You try to understand this. If not, you can ask me in the next class. Some numerical. So what are the components of PCM decoder? The decoder will be having, say, in the what I just explained is PCM encoder. Last explanation is all about PCM encoder. What will be there in the decoder? Because in the receiver side you have this data. Now you have to convert it into signal. How to do that? Okay, so from this bit stream in the decoder make and connect samples. Okay, so from one, next it will continue to develop the signal, and you use a low pass filter to get this analog signal. Okay, but just opposite will happen, where each bit stream will be converted into your analog signal. Okay, this will be somewhat like this form. Okay, regeneration of the signal for the bit stream. Okay, means you can apply here line encoding also. So up to what I have covered is all about PCM, pulse code modulation, where I have covered your encoding, decoding. Here, second topic is your delta modulation. That is topic number 2. Okay, where you will be having one analog signal, and now you have to convert it into binary bits. How to do that? Say for each level, from considering this as reference line 0, for higher positive side signal use a level. Again for next positive side signal use a next level. So since it is in positive side, up to this position it will continue on using your it kind of staircase. In delta modulation, for continuous positive signal it will use a higher layer, higher step. Okay, when it will reach up to this position, at that position it will see that it will it is decreasing, value is decreasing. Okay, so it will be able to reflect that in the this position it is decreasing. Okay, for decreasing, now it will go to lower step. Okay, so since signal is decreasing, it will lower step, then again lower, lower, and go on lower. So again you can see that the effect will be reflected after a time frame. Okay, but the signal will be generated, sorry, the bit stream will be generated from the stairs only. Okay, for each higher stair it will be 1, and for each lower stair it will be 0. That's why for each higher it is bit stream is 1. Okay, and for each lower bit stream is 0. Okay, and again for higher it is 1. So from a analog signal of this form you are able to get bit stream. It is only done with the help of comparator. Okay, the modulator of delta modulation having a comparator which compares each and every level. Okay, the comparator compares the analog signal level. Okay, and it generates a digital data. Okay, that generated data will give as an input to staircase maker. Okay, the staircase maker will give this output to the delay unit, which will delay it. Okay, and then that will be given as an input to the comparator. Otherwise this continuous effect will not be generated. Okay, with the help of comparator, delay unit, staircase maker, you are able to generate a digital data to you are able to generate digital data from analog signal. Okay, that is delta modulation modulator. In the opposite side, you will receive digital data to form analog signal with the help of just opposite staircase maker. The output will be given to low pass filter to have analog signal, and that staircase maker output will be given as an input to the delay unit, which will be given as input to the staircase maker to form your analog signal. Okay, opposite here, staircase, delay unit, comparator. Here opposite of comparator it will be low pass filter. Okay, staircase, delay unit, low pass filter. That is delta modulation. In this topic, I have got one more topic. Already I have covered pulse amplitude modulation. There are two more topics, PWM, PPM. What are those? PM stands for pulse amplitude modulation. PWM stands for pulse width modulation. PPM stands for pulse position modulation. So in PM system, the signal in a PM system, the message signal is usually flat top sampled with the carrier signal. Okay, In PWM, with the change in the amplitude of the message signal, the width of the pulse varies. Okay. In PPM, pulse have constant width and is present at the trailing edge of PWM. Let's see with a figure if you have not understood this concept. In case of PAM, you will take what? Flat top sample. Okay. Here at this position you are taking flat top sample. So here you have taken a sample. Here you have taken a sample. Sample, 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 sample. That is simple PAM. Then what is PWM? It is width. Width means the concept is when you have a positive highest frequency here, highest height. So here, if you will represent with a line, you will be able to. I have to draw a straight line here. At this position, you have highest height. So for that, you will be having maximum width. Okay. Since it is the lowest height, at this position you will be having lowest width. Okay. So this technique is known as width modulation, pulse width modulation. The highest amplitude position having highest width, the lowest width position, negative amplitude position having lowest width, and the rest is depend upon the level. Since it is positive to negative, it is having of this width. Then it is next level it is increasing, next level it is increasing, then again it is decreasing, 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 then again increasing and increasing. Okay, depend upon the height of the signal. Now, what is the PPM, pulse position modulation? Okay, in pulse position modulation, please see a concept that whenever you have negative signal, if it is your reference point, if it is your reference point, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. So let's take this sixth position. If it is your reference point, if your signal value is negative, highest negative, minus, say it is minus, highest minus, then see the position will be nearest. It is position, means width is not mattered here. Okay, width is not a matter. This width will be same for all signal representation. Only matter is that with my reference time, the position will be nearest for negative. Okay, same way for C, consider this position, it is highest here, it is highest, it is lowest, because it is the maximum width position. So from position, what is the maximum length? Since maximum length, so in the decoder side, with this maximum width position, you will be able to generate the maximum positive signal. Okay, that is, you have to first denote. Okay, that is the maximum negative, it is the maximum positive with reference to your time position. Okay, here it is low, it is more higher, it is again most higher, then it is decreasing, position is decreasing, position is decreasing. Okay, and slowly it will increase. Okay, so there can be questions like compare with diagram, compare PAM, PWM and PPM, and what, where and how they are used. Okay, so if the last points are clear, we will go for last presentation part. It is simple. Transmission modes. Okay, transmission mode says that transmission of binary data across a link can be accomplished in either parallel or serial mode In parallel mode, multiple bits are sent with each clock tick. In serial mode, one bit is sent with each clock tick. That is the difference. Okay, just note down this line. That is the main difference. In parallel mode, multiple bits in one clock. In serial mode, one bit in one clock. While there is only one way to send parallel data, there are three subclasses of serial transmission: asynchronous, synchronous, and asynchronous. Okay, that three category 1, 2, and 3 are for serial transmission. Okay, data transmission, parallel or serial. In serial, it is asynchronous, means without clock. It is synchronous, means with clock. And let's see what is asynchronous. In parallel transmission, multiple bits are transmitted from sender to receiver at a time, means 8 bits are sent together. So we need 8 lines. Okay, in parallel transmissions, number of lines requirement is more. In serial transmission, you can use only one line where multiple bits will be sent one by one, where you will observe that from lowest position 0, okay, it is sent first, then 1, it is sent second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. Okay, so from lowest it is the first position sent. Okay, so 8 bits are sent one after another. We need only one where there will be a parallel to serial converter that will convert this into serial, and from it is in the sender side, and at the receiver side it will convert the serial data to the parallel converter, and that will be received by the receiver. That is all about your serial transmission. Let's revise. In asynchronous transmission, we send one start bit at the beginning and one or more stop bit at the end of each byte. There may be a gap between each byte. Since clock is not used, so with bit stream, say you have bit stream 00011, with that you also need your some extra start bit. Okay, say you need this black color data as start bit, and say whenever it will get say 1, it will stop. Okay, so basically you have, this is your data where these are the extra 2 bits used for synchronization. So since you are not using clock, it is known as asynchronous transmission. Okay, asynchronous here means asynchronous at the byte level, but the bits are still synchronized in the higher level. Their durations are the same. So here same thing we are showing, that's what I have represented. One start bit and one stop bit. Okay, for each segment of data you are using start and stop bit. So here they are using 0 as start bit, so that will mean that this is data 1, that is data 2. Okay, it is direction of flow. In synchronous transmission, we send bits one after another without start or stop bit or gaps. It is the responsibility of the receiver to group the bits, means only bit stream will be sent. This is the bit stream sent, this is the bit stream sent, this is the bit stream sent. There is no 1 or 0, there is no such concept, because you are using time. Okay, time, here you are using time, here you are using time. Okay, sender to receiver, you are using time. Okay, to synchronize. So that is all up to this class. I hope this concept are clear to you. Any questions you can ask me.